The Collective. Channeled by Mohler. Do you feel like a fish out of water? Dear ones. It is Mother Earth, Mother Mary, Morya, and the Arcturian High Council here, streaming through the cosmic frequencies of the God breath, and the living light of the central suns today. With all of the energies whirling and swirling on your planet right now, it is good to remember to ground in the eternal, life-giving, and life-supporting frequencies of your divine source, the light of creation, and the infinite essence of the all that is. February 2022 is ushering in new energies, and a shift in the collective consciousness like never before. To be in a vibrational space of conscious receiving, is to make room for the light of the central suns, and the divine empowerment of source energy to be active, alive, awake, and aware in you. For so long, the modus operandi of 3D Earth was to be asleep, and unaware of who you are, for that has allowed you to engage the 3D matrix of separation consciousness, and to simultaneously be caught up in it. Like a fish caught in a net. And now, dear ones, you see where you have more recently come from, the Piscean Age. And where you are moving to, the Age of Aquarius, which opens worlds upon worlds within you, and all around you. Why is it important to take deep conscious breaths in these times? You are moving from the frequencies of fish caught in the serpent's nets, and into your divine sovereignty, where you will need to access divine prana. In this new age rooted in the element of air, to keep flowing things forward. Feel those two contrasting energies with us a moment, trapped, caught, imprisoned, stuck, and powerless as is the case in the Piscean Age as fish caught in the nets of the old 3D matrix. And now feel the energy of the Age of Aquarius, breathing in the element of air, and free-flowing forward movement, with advancements and evolutions of consciousness that celebrate innovation, invention, creation, and emergence. The Age of Aquarius is all about the consciousness of the heart, and the heart is powered by the air we breathe. So dear ones, you are moving from the energies of fear and entrapment in the serpent's scaly matrix into the unlimited and eternal God breath and prana of Source, in order to ascend and evolve human consciousness, the planetary consciousness, and the cosmic consciousness as a whole. As one rises, you all rise, in one epic conscious breath, and the unity breath flowing through the all that is. Now we know that many of you are feeling like fish out of water right now in your life experiences. Yes? Those awake in the sea of illusion and 3D entrapment can feel a fair amount of discomfort and disillusionment in these times. The majority of the people on your world are still sleeping in their nets, believing in the story that constriction, enslavement, lack, scarcity, and disconnection are the natural order of things in life, and that those energies define what life is meant to be. The more the serpent tweaks the energies of the old, conditioned stories that it has programmed deep into the human psyche, the more those vulnerable to those conditionings express their familiar patterns and low vibrational coping strategies. Those awake, and not under the spell of those conditionings, see the seas of illusions, and the fish caught in the nets, and are breathing deep divine prana for the first time in a very long time, as individuals participating in the great awakening of the collective as a whole. Using this metaphor today, of those still swimming along as salmon, if you will, in the 3D matrix, who are still caught up in the net of the Piscean Age, and the perception that enslavement and subjugation is all there is, and those breaking free and breathing free in the new Age of Aquarius, and seeing worlds beyond worlds of infinite possibilities. It is quite a contrast, isn't it? And we first wish to say that those breathing the new divine prana of the new age are here as leaders of the new consciousness of freedom, liberation, innovation, expansion, and ascension in ways the mind can't comprehend, and yet in ways the heart remembers. The Age of Aquarius, as we previously shared, is an age of heart consciousness, and the heart is powered through the breath. So does it feel different, dear ones, to be leaving those Piscean waters, and entering God's expansive breath, and the heart of one in new and expansive ways, that at first feel foreign to you, and yet that strangely feel somehow familiar to you as well. Isn't this the energy we spoke of in the last transmission of knowing the unknown? Of the knowing, and the not knowing? This is where the heart consciousness inside you is prepared to lead you. It is skilled in integrating polarity, and alleviating the pressure and perpetual dynamic of the two wolves fighting each other. In these new breaths you are taking, the heart is leading you towards integration again. And integration is a frequency that is deeply known to you as much as it also simultaneously feels foreign to you. And yet you must all rise up, and out of those Piscean waters, that we might call the birthing waters, and into this new age of free-flowing, and forward-moving soul integration, liberation, and divine reunion. It is in this fluid connection of the heart with the all that is, where your timeless divine consciousness begins to reign again in your life, and in the world today. And that, dear ones, is a game changer. For the serpent can no longer pull the wool over anyone's eyes that is awake in their heart center, and breathing the breath of life in partnership with divine source. So these are exciting times as much as they also feel to be unfamiliar times, and that combination can make them feel like uncomfortable times. Until you have a language for what is happening inside you. For you do desire to be these fish out of water, at deeper and deeper levels inside you. Because you desire to leave the illusion that cast you into the enslavement and suffering programs of the 3D matrix in the first place, so that you can freely re-enter God's garden, divine grace, and the gifts of sovereignty again. The serpent has used the water in many ways to enslave the entire sentient collective of this planet, through false contracts, and maritime, or admiralty laws. And source energy, and the living light are here once more to liberate all life from the serpent's illusions, and snares, for, it is simply time in the cosmic cycles for freedom, clarity, unity, and joy to reign again throughout the universe. So what do those feeling in between these worlds, and transitioning from being submerged in separation consciousness-laden waters into rising air-breathing sovereigns do? To soothe the discomforts of these powerful shifts to your physical bodies, emotional bodies, spiritual bodies, and mental bodies? How do you reconcile the vibrational disparities of these two worlds? The world of under-the-sea contracts, and spells of the serpent, and the world of risen divine sovereign beings soaring like eagle with clear soul sight, stealth strength, courage, boldness, and emancipated divine expression? You breathe. You consciously breathe. That is first preparation, and first step number 1. And you learn how to breathe these higher frequencies into your heart center. And truthfully, it's not so much about learning how to breathe these higher frequencies into your heart center as it is about remembering how you already know these higher frequencies, and their life force for your divine heart center. Let's go back to talking about the known and the unknown from the last transmission. The discomfort that many of you may feel about being knowers of the frequencies of these times, and yet also feeling in much of the time now that there is a great deal still unknown to you, is a natural part of the ascension process. Because you are not just evolving in your consciousness. You are evolving physically, emotionally, and spiritually as well. Your four-chambered heart center is a divine and perfect reflection of your four energy bodies coming into integration now in these times. For so long, they have functioned out of sync, out of step, and unbeknownst a lot of the time to each other. Your four energy bodies lived the 3D experience of separation consciousness, therefore creating the world around you, and the lifetimes you have lived all this time. But your all-knowing heart center at its deeper spiritual core could never be separated from Source. Right now, many of you are going through the process of connecting your everyday in and out physical experience of breathing, and syncing your consciousness up with your divine breathing to recreate and rebirth it to be a spiritual experience to simply breathe. This is the first step in recalibrating and reorienting yourself in the new earth energies. The more then that you consciously breathe in this way, the more your all-knowing sacred heart center is pumping vast awarenesses and activation codes through the rest of you. And the more the all-knowing heart center is coming online and into your conscious awareness every day, the more the 3D illusion is becoming increasingly clear to you, and simultaneously fading away. The more you consciously breathe, and the more the illusion of 3D fades away in your life experience, the more you are residing in this space in your sacred heart center, that knows all, sees all, remembers all, and unifies all. And yet, the more you are also in an inner place collectively, living in the unknown temporarily in a place between worlds. In a place between the timelines. It is more vibrationally apparent to many of you that you truly are in a place of living in between what is no longer, and what is not yet, but is rapidly emerging to anchor on your world again, and to be. So once again we ask the question, how do you reconcile the vibrational disparity between these known and unknown worlds inside you? How do you allow the deep timeless all-knowing heart center that knows how to connect with the infinite light and heart of Source now in this moment, and the experience of still having an ego and linear mind-oriented left brain hemisphere that fears the unknown, and that tries to control things to avoid challenges in the unknown, and that is struggling at times daily to deal with the unknown out there? And that is what we ultimately wish to draw your attention to now in this transmission today. The unknown out there is awaiting transmutation, or alchemization inside your conscious awareness. For there is nothing out there, it's all in here. And what do we mean by it's all in here? We mean that your knowing, your inner GPS, your soul sight, your orientation to your lives, these deeper soul knowings, and your next steps in this shift of the ages, is all here. In here. It is inside you. And, it is taking some time to come to terms with that. It is taking some time for your ego to let go of its demands, and terms to lead everything by its will. And to allow more, and more of your all-knowing heart center to lead from within its expansive energy field again. It's a time in which the two wolves that were previously wrestling inside you integrate into that yin-yang union again. Where everything is coming into balance again. Where positive polarity, or benevolent polarity, is integrated inside you again. And this is a process of the ego yielding once more to the all-knowing heart center. It is the process of the knowing inside you, leading your ego into the allowing of the unknown still manifesting on your world. By the ego's surrendering to your all-knowing heart center. And that is manifesting in very different ways for all of you, but the ultimate core process is the same. What is essential for your sacred heart center to get stronger in this timeline of the in-between times to lead your life, and life forcefully once more? Conscious breathing. Divine prana. The element of air. In this sacred soul practice, of conscious breathing, you are preparing your physical body temple to receive God/Source/Creator's keys to the Garden of Life, and the Garden of Eden again. You are preparing your physical body temple, and your mental body to receive this living light energy on faith, and by frequency alone. How long has it been, since the human collective knew life, and daily living based on faith, and frequency alone? It's been a long time. And this is why it feels uncomfortable sometimes. The four chambers of your heart center are in the process of becoming activated 5D engines working together for your greater good, all the time. The gears of those engines are rusty. They haven't been used in a long time. Not like this. Not in a quantumly conscious way like this. And those gears are getting some oil. They are receiving a new level of prana. And they are feeling and embodying new levels of faith and freedom than ever before. Of course, it feels new. Of course, it feels unfamiliar. It's akin to ascension CPR. New life breath is flowing in you. New life force is flowing in too. It feels different. It feels familiarly unfamiliar. There is that benevolent polarity weaving into our conversations again. It's the knowing of the unknown, that is already known. These are deep energies that we share today. They are challenging to language into words and understandings, because they are such deep vibrations, and powerful game changers as well. But those with soul ears, and soul vision to hear, and to see, will know this deep within, as describing the phenomena of the flickering many are feeling, of resonating with some things in their daily lives right now. And at times experiencing their lives as outdated, not relevant, not interesting, not engaging, and as lives they may have long outgrown, and aren't really theirs anymore. Ascension on planet Earth has many elements, not just one. It involves change on an epic scale. The biblical serpent is tugging at anyone's consciousness it can access to show you its scales, meaning, its propaganda, and agendas of inducing fear. In order to feebly attempt to minimize its losses that, it is experiencing as more, and more reclaim their own life force with Source, and leave the serpent behind. Source, Creator however is revealing bigger, broader, and epic scales of justice. And those scales of justice reveal truth, clarity, freedom, and liberation for this planet, no agendas attached. You are learning to breathe free. You are remembering how your heart center is your fifth dimensional engine here to assist your quantum leap into the new Earth's all-knowing knowing. Unity consciousness is another way of describing the new Earth's all-knowing knowing. And in this context, deep spiritual knowing is another way of describing unity, oneness, and universal love. It's the same living vibration of Source, and the living light. It's all one. And you are learning, and remembering really how to flow forward in this fluid way through divine, or conscious breathing, empowered in every way by the energies of the age of Aquarius, taking form, taking root, and anchoring inside you more, and more every day. The more the living light flows into, and infuses this planet, and the more divine prana that fills your lungs, and your airwaves, the more you might experience temporary confusion, disengagement from the matrix, a sense of experiencing a great leaving, or departure from your life, and yet you are still living in it, and a deep feeling of downloading a new awareness, seeing a deeper way, and knowing that there is an entirely other way of being that has been 1, or 2, or 3 degrees outside your former perceptions. But that is finding you now. That feels more aligned with who you are. It's hazy at first, yes. But doesn't it also feel familiar to you? Isn't it something you know, that your mind says we don't know what this is, but that your heart says, oh, yes, we remember? This is a significant part of your energetic adjustments this month, and this year in 2022. You are acclimating to breathing. The knowing you know. In bigger ways now. Some are assimilating this new insight, and new way of moving, and being with greater ease. Many are feeling this, and experiencing a mixture of awe, and discomfort about it. And still many are unaware that any of this is even happening. And yet those consciously acknowledging the changes occurring inside you, for there really isn't anything out there. It's all happening in here. Are far, and above ahead of the ascension curve. Breathing divine prana, receiving divine fortification, and integrating the divine blessings that leaving the serpent's matrix with total source support brings into the lives of those awakened avatars that many of you are. Serpentine waters, and 3D incarcerations, and entanglements are being exposed in these tides of epic change. The flood waters of your time are unfolding on every level of your being, physical, emotional, spiritual, and mental, as well as in every aspect of your lives. Any systems, and structures based in the serpent's lies, deceit, manipulation, and corruption are now crumbling, and soon you will see it in free fall, returning to dust in swift victories of God executed with precision. You are the new earth Noahs of your time. Those rising out of the Piscean age are embracing their arcs of safety, their arcs of preparation, their arcs of conscious breathing, and their arcs of divine union in full faith once more, in order to enter the new age of Aquarius, and the new earth with as much clarity, peace, ease, comfort, empowerment, well-being, and joy. For those that feel they are fish out of water right now, we would say, you are in good company. Everyone is. Everyone is a fish out of water. And you are seeking higher ground. In ascension times, your arcs are your bridges to that higher ground. Remember the story of Noah. He was warned the floods would come, and he built a boat. But when the rains came, he didn't immediately reach the new land. He didn't have immediate access to dry land. No, he first had to face the floods with faith and fortitude, releasing fear, and the summonings of the serpent to fear. And after journeying for 40 days, and 40 nights, the peace dove confirmed that new dry land was near. While many are still swimming in serpentine waters, in the last vestiges of the dark, or shadow side of the Piscean age, many are rising into source-supported arcs, and breathing divine prana as they dry up their old cycles, and patterns of tears, and fears, and they allow in the peace that passes understanding that emerges through a fully working, and thriving integrated heart center, that breathes divine prana, and life force, and blessings in your day, every day. We believe as things heat up in those waters, more will awaken to the illusion they are surfing, and swimming in, and more will make the conscious choice to remember the knowing within of these times as well, to join the growing collective of souls at the leading edge of God/Source/Creator's creation, and celebrate the new earth rising in one, and all on this planet, and in the greater cosmos. It is time to rise. It is time to breathe. It is time to incorporate, and integrate the unknown, to be led by the all-knowing heart centers you all have within. Is it a journey? Yes. It is an epic ride right now. Yes. Do you have the skills to navigate these times? Yes. It's your vibrational compass within. You are exercising these skills now more than ever. And it will only increase. For that vibrational compass you are seeking, and activating today, will be your vibrational map, and divine coordinate tomorrow. The new earth is literally new vibrational terrain. And terrain is earth. It is land. It is a new landscape. And, it is a new atmosphere of divine consciousness, more extraordinary than you can presently imagine. But, it is emerging. Right now, today. In you. You are leaving the Piscean waters, and entering the new earth, through divine breath, and partnership with Source. This is the path. This is known within. Let it be. You are loved, dear ones. You are love. All are love.